Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Experience Team sprint or iteration release video going over what we released over the last 2 weeks. Today is August 12th. And up first, it looks like Tyler.
Hello. I had a few things. I had some more follow-up on the comparison page infographics. The MRs I linked here are just updating some of the data themselves, and then we finally pushed up the scoring rubric page and the link to that rubric page for clarity. So those both went up this week or this iteration. We also had someone was doing work on some Google Analytics event tracking, and the question was posed of like, hey, should we track based on these CSS classes or something else? And we had previously said we should be using data attributes for it. So I pushed 2 MRs to add some data attributes across our navigation and on the pricing page for the folks doing Google Analytics work there. And then we've had issues with our cached assets across the CDN. And these have been recurring issues. We have 3 major incident reports that have been filed and resolved. And infrastructure asked us to, or site reliability specifically asked us to just get something in place so that we could do a better, a cache bust from the application side, from the code side. So I built like a really fast and like not the way that you should build a cache bust. So these MRs add a field in our package JSON file with a manual cache bust value. It adds some Ruby helpers to do the cache busting. And then the last one, which Laura, thank you for taking a look and approving before this meeting. It is going live right now. It just wraps our, I only targeted the assets in the head and the scripts partial for now, because I think that will catch like 90% of our stuff, and there is instructions on how to use it. So if you find that you're having cache busting issues, it should be you should have a template for how to wrap other assets if they end up elsewhere in the cache bust. So that's going live, and it is not the best solution, but it is a solution and it should fix the problem. Then Jess came back and caught sticky position issue on, I think when we swapped over to the non-event banner, the old banner had an old sticky top value for an old header. So it was just like 12 pixels off and it was shifting. So I just like bumped that. And then Nathan, I just sent this to you for review. We had a bootstrap upgrade from version 3.3.5 to 3.4.1. I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about it. So I'm including it here because I believe it to be finished. And that is just lots of little stuff for me this time around. So Tina, I think you're up next.
Thanks. So the first item I have here is a new image for a new illustration for the public sector page. So we requested an image from Vic on the brand team. It looks amazing. I can't wait to see it up. I tried to push the MR myself to update the image. I was very brave, but it needs improvements. And Tyler has kindly volunteered to help me with this. So hopefully it'll be up by next week. And that will probably wrap most of the work on the solutions template, which is awesome also. Also, I had some spillover from Q2 with the Bragwall and compliance badges. So I closed that issue. I split it up into separate issues to keep track of all of the nuances and all of the issues with some of the legalities and guidelines for displaying the badges. So a lot of those badges are in flux, but we're getting close to being able to have approval from the various firms on those. So yeah, lots and lots of conversations there and lots of different people involved, as you can see. What is the next item? So I worked a little bit on some comparison page feedback with Tyler. He already talked about the scoring methodology page. I'm super happy that that's up. I also created backlog issues from some future improvements. Some of them are smaller pieces, some of them bigger pieces from discoveries we made with usability user research. And those are probably going to just be backlog issues for now. Anyways, and lastly, I continued to work on storybook card improvements with Javi, improving the card plate, making it consistent throughout the site, and just resolving some CSS conflicts. That's it for me. Next is Barker, who is not here. Maybe an engineer can speak to her pieces instead of me.
I can read them off. I'm
Thanks.
not too familiar with what she was up to, but I can read it off. Yeah, so migrating an open source partners page to new solutions template. Looks like there's something to show. I think it's live.
Oh no.
It's good. I remember her working on this. It looked really good. Implement solutions and solutions child content type in Netfly CMS. I remember seeing the MR for this. It just adds more fields and allows us to be more customizable. Sweet. And then build customer reference template and components and slippers, 70% complete. And there's a review app link. Oh, nice. And then last one, move channel marketing handbook. Yeah, and then it's over to me now. So one thing I added to the pricing page is a CTA for, if you open it up, if you scroll down past the, past the features, there's the two side-by-side cards now, the one with the cloud and the one with the user icon. Thanks, Tina, for jumping on that. I think it looks good. It's on production now. Yeah, there's 3 updates to the homepage banner and the hero. So you don't have to go through them all, but it's been a busy week or two with homepage stuff. And then we ended the experiment for the reverse tiers. Yeah, so we ended up, I don't know if we've officially kind of announced the results, but it was kind of not inconclusive, but there wasn't enough evidence to show that we should go ahead with the experiment or with the test variant. So we're going to revert it back to the control. And then just Q3 planning, which I think all of us have been up to this last iteration. And Javi?
What's up? I had a issue to work on DevOps tool chart on mobile screens. It was this issue where we had a separate chart, similar to the one in the homepage, the big one with all the competitors. There was a certain page where someone had reported it not showing up. And so then I just made a quick and dirty MR to get it to show up in mobile. It's not pretty. It's essentially a position scroll auto, so you have to scroll through the thing, left and right to see the entire thing. But MVCs, and I had a lot of other things to work on, so that's what they got. Up next, changing spacing issue to align with Figma and Zippers. Essentially, we had a lot of utilities that weren't following the same spacing as we were using in Figma, so I made 3 MRs to align with that. And MRs, it basically comes down to pushing something up, realizing that there's still an issue that needs to happen, pushing something else up, and then updating it on the dev side. So MR3 is currently, I just push something up and hopefully it'll work as expected, because I know I'm holding up Laura. I just saw your message, by the way, the one that was 22 hours ago. I'm sorry for just replying now. Okay, so finally, I worked on level 1 pricing direct link to pricing about page. If I go back here, it's this guy. So having these drop downs, having this guy be top level situation. Yeah, and then I have a couple other things that are work in progress, but let's not talk about that. Up next is Steven.
Just had a kickoff around design system iteration, probably the same as a lot of people, just kicking off the last iteration, and then another one today as well around adding links to the doc site, which was pretty insightful. So working on next steps for that, and then cleaning up some issues from Q2 and looking over the stuff that Nathan has pushed out. And next is Laura.
Yeah, so I added a video of Sid's commit keynote conference talk to the homepage, and it stayed up there for a couple of days until some of those changes came through that Nathan was working on. That page is constantly in flux. So that came and went. And then I've been working on the install page. It's a large change. There is a review app available. It's mostly finished. I have some updates and slippers that I'm gonna put in to this install page once we get comfortable with the MRs that Javi was mentioning about making sure all these spacing is aligned and everything is okay before we update slippers and dub. And then I added discuss, I'm not sure how to say it, to the test. We created a test page to start testing some cookies. So, oh yeah, this is the install page. Yeah, we got like some highlighted stuff. We got that menu that might look familiar on the right side. You can like click on different methods or whatever that we use on the events page or whatever. Yeah, she's up there. She's not in vain. We got some tooltip action. Yeah, so it's coming together. Yeah, and then this test page, we added discuss to it and added OneTrust to it so that we can play with the functional cookies that happen. So discuss will load there. And then in the bottom left corner, there's that little check icon. If you click on her, there's our OneTrust banner, and we're pimping this out to look like GitLab logos and stuff. But this will appear in certain regions. And big shout out to Tyler, who's been helping with the heavy lift for OneTrust, because it is a new tool for me, but it is not a new tool for Tyler. And then, like everyone has been saying, Q3 meetings and planning, it's that time of year. And I think that wraps us up for today. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.